Okay, here we are at the Dawn Centre at the YASC, and I've got with me Richard, and we're just going to ask a few questions about the homeless review that's going on at the moment. Afternoon, Richard.
Evening, Simon.
Yeah. In your experience, what are the main things that lead to someone becoming homeless?
It could be like home, family. It could be distress. It could be like suicide. It could be actually anything. And a lot of people, like in Leicester, well, wherever, are going to lose a lot of places through guys that, don't understand the sort of thing. And I just can't weigh these people up because, yourself, if you're in a hostel, you've been in the hostel, you've been on the street, like I have, and all the guys have at the Dawn Centre, YASC, all over it, Leicester, and they're telling you it gets worse and worse, and I think it's going to get even worse, and for everybody's sake, we just hope they're all safe, and I can't see it really happening that they're going to open all these places what they say they're opening, because now they're going to shut most of them down, and where are people going to go? And that's why, I think.
Yeah. What do you think are the main things the Homeless Review should be looking at?
They should be opening another centre or something for these guys that are going to freeze or die on these streets. Mm-hmm. And the main thing is, like you say, they'll need food as well. We're trying to do what we can from it, the churches and what I done this morning at Open Hands and clothing them and feeding them sort of thing. Drinks inside them, warm drinks like soups, and I don't know more what we can do, but we're just trying to help. But the government seem to just straight away and say no, and get rid of these, get rid of this, get rid of that. We need a thing where we can fight for these guys.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think those priorities should be implemented?
I think the government themselves, but or seeing, like we said last week, the Prime Minister of Leicester, or the Leicester, like John Asper, someone like that, to come and see what's involved and see what's happening, because that's the problem we wanted to see. Peter told me last week in here to see what's happening around, and it's going to get worse. Crime's going to get worse. I think everything's going to get worse.
Okay. Now, the council intend to use the new powers given to it by the government to offer some people private accommodation through home choice. Do you think this proposal will adequately meet the expected demand on services due to the welfare reforms?
No, because people don't want private all the while, and it's going to. It's all right, but you're giving these landlords what they, a lot of money, and it just ain't. I don't think it's going to work. Because these people don't. What's a drinker going to do? A drug person going to do? They ain't going to do all this, are they? Obviously, because they ain't going to have the money to do it. Not private.
Yeah, and do you think?
But in a hostel, you can.
Yeah. You think private landlords will be kind of hostile to certain?
I do. Yeah. Especially with drinkers. We understand some of the drinkers, but they don't, and that's the big difference. If you work with them,
So, do you think some of the things that will be lost is the understanding from services that happen now? What kind of things do you get now that you think you'll lose?
Your benefits. I think a lot of them are losing them now.
Yeah.
I talked to a guy this morning, he's lost his benefit and he's been waiting another 6 weeks, so how did he go on? He's on the street, got no food. I had one last week, he stayed at mine, but now he eventually got flat, but he had to go private again. But there again, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So he had to go private because he had nowhere else to go. But he ain't a drinker, he's just a normal guy, wanting a normal family life, like we all do. So.
Yeah, and if they do implement the kind of going down the privatisation route, do you think that will be implemented fairly?
No. Because I think private's certainly, like I say, different from everything else.
Yeah.
When you're private, you're paying more, and then they, if you ain't got a job, then they send the housing benefit, like you probably lose your housing benefit and everything else. So you're in the same situation, back in the same situation on the street. So.
That said, do you agree that people should stay in a hostel for the shortest period possible?
No, I think it should be a long-term alone, because they don't understand. Like you say, a drinker won't understand. A drug person wouldn't understand.
Because they
we see it every day. They need more help.
Support. Yeah.
Because they go to these things where the alcohol situation is getting worse. Mm-hmm. The drug, And the crime's obviously going to go worse now, and we'll need more policing. So you can't win, sort of thing.
So how do you think people who currently use the day centre will cope without the use of the day centre in the future?
Well, they'll hang about the streets, obviously, a lot of them. And then that would say more crime, more things, shoplifting, whatever.
Yeah. If there wasn't a day centre, which buildings do you think will be, get increased use of? Places where people can go, what? Libraries, museums, stuff that's
probably
free?
Yeah. Libraries, museums, bingo, sort of things like that. Places where they can keep warm as well.
Yeah.
They ain't got to pay for the warmth.
Yeah. Which is
I think
key thing, isn't it?
But you still got to have money to go bingo or whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
I know, because I think everybody's done it, been there and done it, wore the t-shirt sort of thing, when they were younger.
Should the council's one night out project only apply to new rough sleepers?
No, it should be. I think it should be everybody, not just a few. I don't think it's fair that you can give a few one thing and the new nothing. That's me, but they might find it a different way. But I don't think it works.
Do you think that's a way of manipulating statistics?
I do. Yeah. Certainly do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think is the key to becoming homeless again? If somebody has been homeless, then they've been through the system. There's a lot of revolving doors use of service. What do you think the key thing would be in stopping that?
To give up these buildings, what they're getting now, and let people stay in the buildings, even if they only get their eaters or something. As long as they're in a building and they can get the warmth themselves.
Yeah. A
lot of the buildings to be reopened or do something for them.
So do you personally agree with these proposed cuts in homeless placements and advice centres?
No, definitely not. I think we're going to have more, like you say, more problems, more people will be on the street. Even this year, we've noticed that there's a lot more on the street this year.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's slowly trebled.
Really?
Yeah, it's that bad now, yeah.
And that your experience personally and from working in the open
and they tell me, Well, I work at the church tomorrow as well, the meals one, Holy Trinity, Crescent House is called. Yeah. And everybody knows a lot more people on the street, because they even say it. They said it this morning, said it Monday, said it at church yesterday. We had a big meeting yesterday as well, so they're saying it's going to get worse each time.
Yeah. But, and are you concerned that these plans might have a negative impact on some people in the community?
Definitely, yeah. Because like you say, there could be definitely more violence, definitely more shoplifters, a lot more, because they ain't going to have the food, so they're going to have to steal it, obviously. Then you're going to get the problems with the police and them coming out and them getting done, and they can't afford to get because they're homeless, sort of thing.
So in effect, they'll just be shifting the cost
definitely
around, won't they?
Yeah. I mean, so what these like Sainsbury's and all these making all this money.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've heard about the Eco House or something. Yeah, you've heard. Mm-hmm. Well, two of our guys were only on the church last week saying about if you say your receipts, which we do, our shopping receipts now. Yeah. We give them to him, and they're showing how much they earn a year. Mm-hmm. And it's just not on. I mean, to make something like £2 billion or something like that. What they're making, these shopping centres. I know they're big, but I'd sooner see the shop corner. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. But it's not going to happen, like you say. They're getting rid of most of these shop corners now, aren't they? Yeah. Another local tradesman. I don't know.
And Richard, just to finalise, can you tell us a little bit about your experience of being homeless?
Yeah, I was with a girl and her two lads, and one of them was on drugs. So I told her about it, and she wouldn't listen. So one day on the Sunday, I left home because, she was working, I was working at the time, and I said to her about the lad. He went upstairs with a few lads, and he'd been using needle or something. And I told him, and he had all curry all over the bedroom floor, which I'd cleaned on. I cleaned before I went out, and he came back, and I just said to Lynn, that was my girlfriend then, that my partner, that I didn't want to stay here no more, and I ended up on the street. So that's how it happened, and it happened again and again. So I just said no, I've had enough, and I left home.
So, like you say, there's many reasons for ending up homeless, not just the obvious ones that people think.
Yeah.
Richard,
they could be drinking or anything.
Yeah. Richard, thanks for talking to me this afternoon.
No problem.
And good luck for the future.
Thank you so much.